Welcome to Cryptid Radio. My name is Adeline. I've rigged up this relay tower to bring you this broadcast on cryptids and creatures of the area. I'll come up and change out the holotape when I can. It's time to talk about what is to me one of the most mysterious cryptids pre- and post-war, the Flatwoods Monster. On September 12th, 1952, at 7:15 p.m., two brothers, Ed and Fred May, and their friend Tommy, were playing in their local schoolyard when they spot this bright object that shoots across the sky and then lands on the property of a local farmer. The boys ran to the May house to get their mother. Mrs. May, the three boys, two more local kids, and a young National Guardsman went to investigate what the boys saw. Where they gathered all of these people so quickly, I have no idea. I guess maybe the May house was the place for kids to hang out. Aside from Mrs. May, they were all between 10 and 17 years old, including that young National Guardsman. As they got up the hill to the farm, they noticed a pulsing red light, and then to their left, there were two bright beams. Lemon, the National Guardsman, shined his flashlight in that direction, and the group saw a humanoid creature nearly 12 feet tall that some said made no noise, and others said it hissed as it glided towards them. It had a red face and bright green clothing that almost looked like a dress. Its eyes glowed, and its head was surrounded by a spade-like shape. A sickening metallic odor was emanating from its body. The group immediately fled, later reporting what they saw to authorities, who reported it to the U.S. Air Force because it had come from a flying object. When official investigators came out, they said there was a strange metallic odor in the area and that the trees in the area were singed, and some branches, pretty big ones, were broken, like something had crash landed. To make sure the May family and friends weren't making the story up, they asked them to sketch what they had seen individually, and they all sketched the same thing. There were a few other sightings in the area around the same time, one of them being the director of the Board of Education. He claimed to have seen a flying saucer taking off at 6:30 a.m. on the morning of September 13th. Even with more sightings, the investigation somehow concluded with the official explanation that it was a meteor crash and a mass delusion, which to me, honestly, just sounds like officials were trying to cover something up. To be honest with you, when I left the vault, the Flatwoods Monster wasn't really a cryptid I had on my mind. With the person saying they saw the saucer take off and the official report, I figured it was a one-time occurrence and I wasn't ever going to get a chance to find it. But then one day, when I was wandering around west of Flatwoods, I came across Hillfolk hot dogs. There was a police report holotape just sitting on the table. I obviously had to listen to it. The officers had been called out to the stand by Colton Pickens at 3:30 in the morning. Colton said he was behind his hot dog stand taking out the trash. He saw a shining light in the woods, thinking it was a flashlight. But then the light started changing colors. He got really dizzy and he dropped the trash bags. He also must have passed out because all of a sudden he was on the ground. He looked up and saw a gray-skinned humanoid creature with huge black eyes and a spacesuit on. It was telepathically telling him to get on its spaceship. The officer sounded like Pickens had encountered this before, and they arrested him for drunk and disorderly contact and indecent exposure. He apparently was on the roof of his shack, completely naked. When they told him they were arresting him, Pickens started yelling about how the monsters had made him drunk and was experimenting on him. He said they needed to kill the Flatwoods Monster. I don't know why he was calling it the Flatwoods Monster, because his description sounded nothing like the Flatwoods Monster. It actually sounded like one of the gray aliens I've read about before. But after that, how could I not want to search for the Flatwoods Monster? So I asked around. I tried to do research at some various places like West Tech and White Springs. There was like no information anywhere. A few of the other dwellers I ran into told me places they thought they had seen the Flatwoods Monster. But even their description was different from the original sightings. They said the head was encased in a glass sphere filled with purple mist obscuring its face. The body is encased in what looks like a spacesuit, with no visible legs or feet. It floats around. When I asked them if they were sure that it was the Flatwoods Monster, they said their pit boy said it was. So, with that information, I went looking. All I ever saw was some purple mist and some turrets that were being controlled by something else, but I never saw the monster. Until one night, I was at Camp Adams for Scout Leader Penny's Campfire Tales. Her story started the same as it usually did. There is a camper afraid of the shadows, and their friends weren't listening to their warnings of danger and just having fun around the campfire. Then, Scout Leader Penny realizes there's a missing camper. She asks us to look for clues to help find the camper. But this time, the holotape Penny finds in the backpack isn't Layla's or Ronnie's. It's camp counselor Naya's. She said she was going on an expedition. She was hunting down whatever had been tormenting the kids. She had seen irregularities in the stars, and then Ronnie went missing. Somehow she thought the night sky was going to lead her to answers. This one was new to me. I thought these were stories that Scout Leader Penny had just made up. Then, all of a sudden, it was there. The frickin' Flatwoods Monster was there, in front of me. The other dwellers were right. It doesn't look like the original sighting. It must have evolved or something over the years. I was trying to get a picture, but the other people that came to listen to Scout Leader Penny's stories, I guess got scared and killed it. I tried to examine the body, but I couldn't get the freaking suit open. All I could gather from it is that it bleeds green, is in fact encased in a bullet-shaped spacesuit, and it has a glass sphere helmet that's filled with purple mist. I tried to crack the helmet to get some of that mist out to get a better look at the head, but there was no luck there. Its arms are long, like so long, and they're floppy, almost like they don't have bones in them, ending in hands that have 3 fingers. It was so strange, but I found it, even though I found out nothing about it. I didn't even know what was in the suit. Is it an alien? A mutated scientist? It was so frustrating. Not long after the Campfire Tales event, incident, occurrence, I don't know what to call it, but not long after that is when we got that alien invasion. Do you remember? Homer Saperstein, the most fake name I've ever heard. A tell me you're an alien without telling me you're an alien kind of fake name contacted us on our Pit Boys. He was telling us about the advanced devices that the alien invaders set up to collect data on us. He somehow disabled the force fields surrounding the brainwave siphons, allowing us to destroy them, all while aliens are beaming down all around us. Among those aliens was the Flatwoods Monster. So, I concluded that it has to be an alien, right? It's for sure not a scientist gone mad and mutated. It must be aliens. After the siphons were destroyed, the General Zeta teleported down with full force of the cosmos. Luckily, when we defeated him, the aliens retreated. All for them to try to invade us again in an hour. Somehow, after a week, they finally gave up and decided to leave. Well, I thought they decided to leave, but recently I've been getting bits and pieces of transmission on my Pit Boy that they might be coming back on July 4th, of all days. I'm hoping when they come back I can get more information on the Flatwoods Monster. Maybe I can find a way to contact this Homer Saperstein. Who knows? Anyway, Until next time, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there.